Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a Char B1. It's a tier 4 French heavy tank. It's located on the south spawn of Ghost Town and it's under the command of Jim Lee of SLPSE. Well, this tank actually has two main guns. There's a 47mm in the turret, which is the one that War Gaming allows you to use, and that can do 55 alpha. The main gun though, the 75mm howitzer, is actually mounted in the hull and aimed by the driver, who's slightly to the right of it, as you can see there. He's got his viewports. He aims the gun, but there's a loader who actually puts the shells in, and it is a howitzer. This tank was originally designed and made as an assault or breakthrough tank, and so the idea was to blow down enemy defences using that howitzer, and it was also pretty effective at enemy tanks as well, so long as they aimed it correctly and they didn't fire it too close to the vehicle, otherwise the shockwave would hurt them too. Anyway, let's see how he gets on in this game. There's a lot I can tell you about the Char B1 because it's one of the tanks that I am interested in. I've actually seen the real one when it came over to Tank Fest in like 2018. Actually had a crew of 4 originally. The commander was also the gunner. He'd actually locate the targets as well as fire the 47mm main gun. The driver, as I said, would drive the vehicle. There was a loader who filled the shells into the gun, and then there was a radio operator whose sole job was to keep the tanks in communication, and he would speak up to the commander who's in the turret. Okay, we've got enemy tank over there. In fact, it's a Char B1 as well. Now, they started making the prototypes in 1924, but they didn't actually start making the real tanks until 1934. So it took 10 years of development, and they ordered 7 straight off the bat, but they didn't build them all with the same company. This is what makes the Char B1 quite unique. It was actually made by 5 different companies: Renault, AMX, FCM, FAMH, and Schneider. So it was the same design, and not all of them were designed by the same company. So Renault, even though that was the main builder, did not design all of the tanks. Now, various improvements were made along the way. They made a Char B1 Biz in 1939, and they improved the 47mm gun to make it more capable of knocking out enemy tanks, so it had more penetration. And they also improved the engine to give it more horsepower. It also had a problem because it used up too much fuel, and that made it very hungry, very thirsty, and so it could keep driving for about 6 hours, but eventually it'd have to be refueled, and they needed to have trucks to do that. It was fairly slow. Maximum speed was only 30 kilometers an hour, or in actual fact some vehicles only did 20. So pretty slow, but it was a very tough tank. In fact, the Germans absolutely respected it because it was so difficult to destroy. They only built 405 of them in total. 34 were the original B1 design, 369 were the B1 Biz, and only 2 were B1 Tiers or Tours, the later version. You can see the 47mm penetrating that Excelsior quite easily. But he is using the APCR. Standard AP only has penetration of, as you saw there, about 60mm, 66, but the APCR will do 98mm, so it easily go through the side of an Excelsior, but you won't get the Excelsior head on, so you need to be careful. If he comes at you head on, you're not going to get through his armour very easily. Now, in fact, Charles de Gaulle, who was a colonel at the time when these were being built, actually didn't want the Char B1. He wanted the D1, the Char D1, which was Char D2, I should say, because it was actually better. It had more armour but it was more like a medium tank. It had the same 47mm gun, but it didn't have the 75mm howitzer. So he wasn't a favourite of this tank. He preferred the D2. And when they actually built the Char B1, they used up half of the budget for all of the tanks that the infantry was supposed to have. So it was actually quite an expensive tank in the end. Shoving those tanks out the way. And he's starting to get damage on the other B1, who suddenly realised, yeah, he's actually under fire from one of his own. Ow. Now that KV-1SA just hit us, and I think that was the 57mm main gun. And he gets the kill on the B1, so that's his second kill. Notice how he's angling to try and avoid the enemy getting penetration. The tank actually weighed about 40 tons in total, but it was very difficult for the Germans to penetrate it. If you've heard about the Battle of Stone, there was one Char B1 was hit by 140 rounds from the Germans and not penetrated by one of them. He wiped out, I think it was 13 enemy tanks, including Panzer IVs, Panzer IVs, and numerous other tanks as well. You can see he's having fun here. He's penetrating a lot of the enemy, but he is burning up a lot of APCR. And in fact, now he's almost out of APCR. He'll have to use AP from now on. He's got 3 kills, and I think he wants some of the last. There's only 4 enemy tanks remaining. There's one of them. Distance. Just got a hit in there, and another one into the engine bay. Ooh, there's a VK over there, and he's starting to put rounds in him. Didn't get the kill though, and the shells are starting to disperse. Okay, there's only 2 enemies remaining. A Panzer IV Ausführung H, and he's still putting damage in him. He just tracked the guy, and there he goes. But it wasn't our kill. A good game by Jim Lee. I'm sure he's having a lot of fun. You can fire these shells very quickly. The standard reload is 2.01 seconds, and Jim Lee's got a reload time here. I think it's only 1.94. So there's only 1 enemy tank remaining. It's an Su-76 GFT, and he is there on the hill. So we're driving straight towards him as fast as we can. It's unusual, this tank has originally had leaf springs, and then it also had proper springs. It actually had the entrance was on the right side of the vehicle. That's where the door was, and the last enemy's gone down, and the weak spot was on the other side of the vehicle. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first class tanker for Jim Lee of SLPSE in the Char B1. He managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. He managed to get 7. He also got a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And on top of that, he got a win 8 of 8,223, which is Super Unicum standard. He did a lot of damage against a lot of enemy tanks, and that's why he earned that Confederate the hard way. Let's have a look at team score. Well, you can see that he also got the highest damage in the game, but sadly it wasn't 20% of the enemy hit pool, and that's why he failed to get the high caliber. He got 1,595 hit points from that 47mm gun. I think a lot of players would love it if Wargaming gave you the option of either using the 75mm gun or the 47mm, because I think it would actually act as a dirt vehicle. You'd actually be blowing away the enemy tanks with one frontal shell right to their nose. That's something that Wargaming could consider in the future, but they probably won't. Second highest damage went to the Panzer 38 Nur Art, who managed 1,116 hit points. And the third highest goes to the Churchill 3, who managed 1,065 hit points. The Nur Art managed the Orlux medal, and the Churchill 3 also got a Confederate. When it came to kills, you can see the high scorer was the Panzer 38 Nur Art who managed 4 kills. 3 kills went to Jim Lee, and 2 kills went to the Churchill 3, the M5A1 Stuart, and the Panzer Achtunddreißig Art, the other one, who actually got an Orlix and a patrol duty in that game. So yes, one got an Orlix, the other one's got Orlix and patrol duty. Not bad going, actually. When it came to base XP, we can see that the Churchill 3 came out on top with 1,175. Char B1 of Jim Lee came out with 927, and the Panzer Achtunddreißig Art managed 718. So he didn't get the top on the base XP, but at least he got the top when it came to damage, and got second place when it came to kills. He fired 50 rounds in the game. You do get a lot of ammunition, 195 rounds. But because it's APCR, it is actually quite expensive if you want the extra penetration. He got 41 direct hits on the enemy, 31 penetrations. Not all of the shells hit the right spot, and they bounced off. 1,595 hit points of damage, of which 331 were at more than 300 meters. Those were most of the tanks that were outside the town. The ones inside the town were very close range. 3 hits received from the enemy. 2 of them were penetrations, 1 non-penetration that hit the tracks, and he spotted 2 enemy vehicles, damaged 10, killed 3, and got 360 hit points of damage assistance where he tracked vehicles and then they took damage. On a free-to-play account, he actually made a loss out of this game, 27,345, and you can see why. It was the ammunition. He kept blowing away the APCR. It is possible to get penetrations with standard AP, but it really depends on the tank you're firing at. If you're firing at something like a KV-1 or even another Char B1, you probably do need to fire the APCR, because although there are obvious weak spots where the driver's hatch is, where the entrance hatch is, where the radiator is, the trouble is you can't always get the shots in there as you would want, and therefore you need the extra penetration to make sure you can go through where the armor is very tough indeed. He did pick up 1,854 experience points out of it as well. So a very good game, and quite a long one actually for a Char B1, because they normally are over very quickly. Because remember, it's sub tier 5, therefore the games are fast and furious. It's not the only replay we've got. We've got another Char B1 game for you to watch. So let's have a look at that one. The second game is on the north spawn of Ensk, and it's a reduced numbers game, and the player is 73north of the WTWW clan. Game on! Well, this is why things can be fast and furious, because if you're in the streets of Ensk and you're moving about, then it can all happen so quickly. It all happened so fast, I didn't understand what was going on. Yes. Well, he's got some interesting teammates with him. It's a tier 4 game only. Let's see how he gets on. Well, the Hetzer's jockeying for a position. He's got the dirt gun. And so it looks like we're going to go right up to the corner and try and side scrape properly. And our opposite number is also a B1. Notice how he's gone straight for the weak spot, the driver's port. Easy to see once you know where it is. But he is using the APCR to ensure that he gets the pen. And he's whacking this guy. Look at all those holes. That guy must have lost his driver by now. And only a few more to go. And there you go. He's got his first kill. Okay. Dirschwagen, the other side of the street. DW2. And also another Char B1. Now the side of the vehicle, you can see there the radiator. That's the weak spot. That's what the Germans aim for, and they managed to put the things out of action by hitting that. He's just there smothering this guy in shells, and he's got his second kill. Or has he? No, he didn't. But now the DW2 is being perforated in his rear, and it looks like the Hetzer wants around, and he's shooting over the Hetzer's back. This is quite funny actually, because the Hetzer's going to give him an enema, And in the meantime, we're trying to get the kill. Okay, so only one kill for 73 North so far, but he's having a lot of fun. And now it's a Panzercepstwaler Beta IC, and that guy's trying to ram the T6. And of course, 73 North doesn't like that, so he's going to take the guy out. Okay, there's still a number of enemy tanks out there. Looks like some of the enemy have gone through the field, but he's looking around trying to find out who's next. Okay, that is a T-28 by the rear. The guy is aiming in our direction, but he's not having much luck with his gun, and now he's out the game. So that's 3 kills. He's actually playing this third person, and that's what's giving him a good all-round visibility on where the enemy tanks are. We're going to have to go through the cap area, but I don't think he's going to stop. I think he's going to go after those enemy tanks because he wants as many kills as he can. Started on the M5. There he is. Keep punching those rounds in. He can auto-aim on. And the scout's gone down. Going for the Chihi now. In fact, not the scout, it's Stuart. And there's the enemy Hetzer. And that guy does have the 105mm, so we do need to be careful that he doesn't plant around in us. But he is only a one-shot if we can get a shot in. Yes! Okay, and now the Chihi is getting the same treatment. There's only one enemy left now. It happens to be a Largo, and he's way off in the distance. And in fact, we've got guys jumping over the hedges, trying to get it in. And there goes the Largo, and that's the end of the game. Well, I did say that games at this tier can be fast and furious, and this one certainly was. This was the first ace tanker for 73 North of WTWW in the Char B1. Congratulations. When you see the scrolls underneath the M, that's the first time he got it. He also got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle. He got a fighter badge. He actually got 5 kills in the end, one short of getting a top gun and 1/3 of the enemy team. Sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive shots on the enemy. He got a shell proof for surviving the battle and getting more damage blocked by the armor than the hit points for his own vehicle. He got a master gunner for getting 5 armor penetrating shots in a row, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12. He also picked up a cool headed for surviving 10 or more ricochets, non-penetrating shots from the enemy, the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he got a steel wall as well for blocking the most damage, at least 11 hits, over 1,000 hit points. And his win rate in this one, 17,826. He was going for it in a big way and making it, well, he was just rolling over the enemy. He could have taken a big hit from that Hetzer, but the Hetzer was more interested in the guys to the south of us and therefore wasn't paying attention when 73 North came up alongside him. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he definitely got the highest damage. Look at that, 2,802, more than enough to get 20% of the enemy hit pool. So he got the highest damage. Second highest was the Largo, the guy who died right at the end. He got 941. And the third highest, well, that turned out to be the Lux on the enemy team, who only managed 899. When it came to kills, he got that one too. For 73 North, that is. He got 5 kills in the game. 3 kills went to our Lux, and 2 kills went to our Hetzer, and also to the Largo on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, he got that one too. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. He got 1,228, the only player to get over 1,000. The next highest scorer was the T-34 1941, the premium 1941, the tank with the is it the F11 gun? Not the F11. It was the one with the 76mm gun, the original one. He only got 610, and after that, the Lux managed to pick up 495. He fired 62 rounds in the game, 58 direct hits on the enemy, 52 of them penetrations, most of them APCR though, 2,802 hit points of damage, of which, and he received, all of it close range, he received 18 hits from the enemy. Only 2 of those penetrated, 16 non-penetrations, 1,020 hit points of damage blocked by armor. So he only just qualified to get the steel wall based on the number of shells he blocked, or the amount of shells he blocked. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 destroyed, and he suffered a loss of 46,433 credits, mostly down to the ammunition, 74,000 credits on ammo. But he did pick up 1,842 experience points out of it. The battle only lasted 4 minutes, 11 seconds. As I say, fast and furious at tier 4. You've got to keep your eyes open, otherwise you can be taken out very quickly. But he just used as much APCR to get those hits, and it worked. Hope you enjoyed that replay, and the other one with Jim Lee as well. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.